Hello everybody, Manithral here, and welcome to the weekly update video for not OSRS, but RS3. So we have Going Home to Lumbridge and Amascut 4K Enrage this week. And if you're a little unfamiliar with what's all going on, um, there is a big movement now, which is actually official, that the MTX is being removed. So this will be taking place in January now. Whether you like MTX or not, I know there's a lot of people who really enjoy the MTX for the bonus XPs and stuff like that. But RuneScape doesn't want to, well, the Mod North and Jaggeds as a whole wants to get back to the core being of RuneScape. There is going to be more like skilling filling out as time goes on, because they did look into the reasons why about when it comes to XP and missing out, but there's a lot of changes to come forth. So yes, while removing stuff like MTX and getting back to the core values of everything is going to change things up for people. And if you're somebody who relies on it, because let's say you're a busy person, you barely have any time per week to get on, there is going to be some updates that come through that might actually work to your benefit. But it is going to be closely worked with the community from the way it looks. So that's it. Overall, it's going to be really good. It's going to give a little bit of a rebirth to RuneScape as a whole. But part of it is they want to get they want to restructure RuneScape, basically fix all the outdated content. They want things more streamlined, all the errors and issues fixed, etc., etc. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this upcoming year, which is going to seem a little probably out of the ordinary from what we're used to. And MTX is going to rule the removal of MTX as part of that. But this week we have Amascut 4000% Enrage, so even deadlier than ever before. So those of you who do enjoy fighting Amascut, well, now's your time to shine, really. And like I said, new era has uh so in the future here. They're calling it the new era of RuneScape. They're even looking at stuff like fixing up combat, changing that a bit. They didn't say anything about removing EOC. So those who are fans of EOC, don't fret. And personally, I don't see any need to remove it, especially since we have both Legacy and EOC, and they both seem to be working quite on par with each other. There's even some people who use Legacy for the big high-end bosses that you think wouldn't work, but they found a way. But this vote was passed with overwhelming results. There was a staggering 120, might as well say 125,000 votes in favor of removing it for good, which is quite substantial. I don't know, for those who have voted, where you've seen the bar. The bar when I first voted was like right towards the middle. Now it's like, so that is going on. They do have a small roadmap out, but it's right now, like I said, it's kind of small. Part of this, the first steps of everything is going home to Lumbridge. So while next in January is when everything truly begins. So this is the weird part. Lumbridge Castle and its walls are returned to normal, and with the updated graphics, of course, but it is returned to normal. The Lumbridge crater is now removed and restored to its original state. And that being the case, of course, any updated tree modules or whatever you want to say, that will all be updated. The overall flow of everything is updated because they want it to be all the new art style. That's another thing. They want the whole world map to be updated art style. There is the relocation of the Shattered Worlds Temple and the restoration of Lumbridge Swamp Caves and the water rune crafting altar to their original locations. So that is all there. They have completely removed the Nexus, which, to be honest, wasn't really needed. Um, I tried it out a little bit during the leagues for RS3. It helped, but I ended up mostly skipping it anyway. It was just for that achievement, and then I went elsewhere. They updated the Lumbridge Sage, who offers more guidance and help for new players. And then here is some of the pictures that they have for the uh the swamp and everything. So as you can see here, there's a little less clutter in where the bank chest is, right outside near the smithing shop. As you can see, the castle walls are back for the Lumbridge Castle, which makes it feel a bit more secured. The swamp is completely updated graphics, and as you can see, the crumbling stone wall there is now just actually like a dip down. The crater is gone, and you can see the building in the distance there, which is probably the Shattered Worlds Temple. But you can see that's all in the distance, and you can actually see it from uh, the water rune crafting altar. And then Mod Zact, Lunar Isle graphical update. This is from the Game Jam that recently took place. So it is completely modernized now. As you can see here, it looks like a very winter wonderland rustic cabin kind of feel, which looks really, really cool. It's about right in line with its place. And they are having a check-in survey. So this is just to gauge how the community is feeling, how they like everything. They're also giving away 50-pound shopping vouchers. That's more than $50 US. To 4 participants who complete the survey to full. Vouchers can be spent on various online retailers. The winners will be randomly selected from all participants and announced in an upcoming edition of This Week in RuneScape. So good luck. Double XP continues. So that'll be going until Monday, November 24th at 12 p.m. GM game time. There is going to be some changes in the future for double XP. They're going to be reducing the amount of events, so keep that in mind. And patch notes. So going home to Lumbridge, new players land in Lumbridge. No accounts other than Group Ironman who retain their route from the Iron Enclave to the Iron Enclave portal in Lumbridge, and League accounts who begin in Lumbridge Courtyard now begin their adventure in the Lumbridge Lodestone, bypassing Burthorpe and Taverley Paths. The end of Tutorial Island and Davendale are suitably updated, unlocking and tutorializing the Lumbridge rather than Burthorpe Lodestone. Getting Ira on Iron Enclave to downgrade your standard mode now transitions to Lumbridge rather than Burthorpe Lodestone. Choosing I have played very recently at the What is Your RuneScape Experience prompt for new accounts and no longer skips a tutorial. Tutorial Island and Davendale have a skip tutorial in their option menu to willingly choose to do so with consent and confirmation. Since there is no longer transition from Tutorial Island to Burthorpe, and the Burthorpe arrival cutscene and Mary Rancor's option to replay it have been removed. Burthorpe and Taverley start points are now listed further down in the quest list area to sort to reflect starting in Lumbridge. Lumbridge is now listed above Burthorpe's in Death's respawn point menu. The 9 basic challenges, which onboard 2 daily challenges, are now more generic objectives, for example, fish any fish, rather than crayfish, and less specific to Burthorpe. Buff the life point and damage of Burthorpe trolls that even for Burthorpe Path players were underbalanced. Troll Truckers, Shamans, Brutes, Morningstar, Magic Stick, and the map in the Death Plateau quest. Declutter Lumbridge Lodestone. So the Lumbridge Sage has learned some new lessons from his OSRS counterpart, and now has a lot more dialogue options to assist new players, such as where to find quests, what monsters to fight, where to make money, find a bank, learn about navigation, as well as lodestones, tools in the tool belt, and quest list and skill list, local history, and the wiki. Event notice boards permanently mapped near Lumbridge Rework Fort 4-3, Tower Voices, lodestones near Janor, Varrock, Falador, Edgeville banks have been removed. The talking pair of inactive villagers south of Lumbridge Lodestone have been removed. The Iron Enclave portal north of Lumbridge Lodestone is now only visible if your account can enter the portal. Decluttering the Lumbridge Castle itself. The Lumbridge Castle walls have been rebuilt once again, encircling the castle, with the access points from the west gatehouse and the east entrance. The barrier has been reinstated between the Lumbridge Swamp and Lumbridge's town and forest. Both booths at the Lumbridge Bank, Falador, Burthorpe, Catherby, and Menifus have been removed, since active voting can be accessed from the community interface. In the Lumbridge Courtyard, the Siege Backpack is now only visible when League Saga is visible. And the Plex Crimson Point Light is only visible when the plaque is visible. The large rock displayed on the to non-league players instead of the plaque has been replaced with a less obtrusive set of barrels. Duck Quest debris now trails from Lumbridge Swamp through the cemetery rather than between the Lumbridge Castle walls. War supplies scenery near the west of Lumbridge Castle kitchen door has been removed. The clue scroll from Search Crate in the left-hand tower of Lumbridge Castle has been clarified to search the crate in the southern tower at the entrance of Lumbridge Castle. The Lumbridge World map text label has nudged a little to the northwest, since the label's prior position rendered non-interactive the Willow and Rest Musician icon near Lumbridge Lodestone. And decluttering the Lumbridge Swamp, the Shattered World Temple has been removed from the Lumbridge Swamp. Shattered Worlds is now accessed from a smaller site at the northeast beach of the Void Knight Outpost. That seems weird. Kenton Descartes' dialogue has been adapted to no longer refer to the entrance as a temple and correct relative directions to the inverse facing. Shattered World's host and quartermaster now have some dialogue in the first outpost investigation section of the Quiet Before the Storm quest, since they're on the beach north of Captain Tier. Shattered Worlds now has a text label on the world map, since nearby Pest Control has one. With the relocation of Shattered Worlds, the shape of the south coastline on the Lumbridge Swamp has been restored. Thanks to the relocation of the Shattered Worlds, the entrance of the Lumbridge Swamp Caves and the Water Runecrafter Altar have been moved back to the southwest Lumbridge Swamp, in locations somewhat reminiscent of their OSRS counterparts, with some drift due to larger scenery footprints. The entrance to the Lumbridge Swamp Caves is once again facing northeast instead of south. A pair of signs at the entrance of the Lumbridge Swamp Caves warning of flammable gas and how to cope with beasts has been reinstated. A map link to the RuneScape service over Lumbridge Swamp Caves exit rope connecting to Lumbridge Swamp Caves entrance icon has been added. Logging out of the Mighty Fall Quest Lumbridge Swamp Cave instance and tracking Tears of Gothic's deity no longer reference a prior location of the Lumbridge Swamp Caves entrance. A reference to the Lumbridge Swamp Crater or Lumbridge Crater in Evil Dave's Spaybook has been modified to better reflect the restoration of the West Lumbridge Forest. The feedback message when using the Talisman's Locate option in the info box rather than a player chat message. A couple inconsistent coordinates of making history treasure in Southwest Lumbridge Swamp have been updated. The Lost City Adventurer Quartet and their camp has moved from near Shadow Worlds to their original post in northwest of Lumbridge Swamp, and the Leprechaun Swamp Tree a similar distance from their camp. Some tree stumps have been added to the south of their camp, similar to OSRS Adventuring Camp, to visually storytell the quartet. Entity icon have been added to the Leprechaun Swamp Tree context menu, so it's easier to distinguish from other trees. The Lost City Adventurers have been graphically updated. The Nexus has been removed from the swamp. The Nexus Has You Lumbridge Beginner Achievement Visit Sandra has been converted to Herald of Dawn. Claim a Herald Cape from the Herald of Lumbridge. If the achievement has been previously completed, it'll remain complete. Sandra's medium clue scroll to count the number of mineable rocks in the Lumbridge Copper Tin has been moved to Father Ernie, who will no doubt appreciate the frequent interruptions to his meditation. To the clue anagram puzzle has changed from Soy Drain to He Any Further. The Enchanted Topaz Enlightened Amulet's Nexus option has been changed to Lumbridge Swamp, but otherwise functions the same. The object descriptions and effect tooltips for the Enchanted Silver Teleport Jewelry are now more consistent. The well south of Lumbridge Castle has been removed since well in west of Lumbridge Forest has been reinstated. 6 swamp frogs have been added to the east of Lumbridge Swamp. Swamp frogs in the Lumbridge Swamp have been graphically updated. Nettles outside of the Father Ernie have been graphically updated. The Frenetic Warrior, Shipmaster, Longbow in Lumbridge Swamp have been removed. There are a few giant rats in Lumbridge Swamp and precisely 3 arrows in their back. Declutter Lumbridge East. Wow, there's a lot that has changed. The god statue east of Lumbridge has moved to the northeast of Falador in view of the crossroads overlook. Copernicus dialogue has been suitably adjusted, as well as the repeatable content head icon is no longer visible in the god statue scaffold puzzle and Slayer instances. A pair of Lumbridge guards in the bridge over River Lum have moved to the goblin side of the bridge, as their former position might suggest the bridge was impassable. Damaged floor tiles east side of Lumbridge have been repaired. Jamba the piglet has found a new home with her porcine compadres in the Dranor Pigpen. Declutter Lumbridge Market. The market has been tidied up with a few duplicate stalls and wandering NPCs, and the NPCs that stand in place and converse are now pickpocketable. Also, graphically updated the remaining 5 market citizens, 2 stall merchants, and a master farmer, who also now only wanders a short distance from the seed stall at the Lumbridge Market. Since Lumbridge Castle has been reinstated, consequently, remove the less accessible pickpocketable men and women immediately north of Lumbridge Castle to focus pickpocketing and stall stealing in the Lumbridge Market. The wooden platform has been removed from the base of the southwest and northeast when applicable Lumbridge Market vegetable stalls, as well as the equivalent vegetable stall in Catherby Market. As a side effect, this has resolved an issue where a container clipped through this platform in Catherby. A white, green, and magenta and cyan point light without source of illumination from Lumbridge Market has been removed. The two training dummies at Lumbridge Market, since no longer a combat academy and training dummies are available elsewhere, such as War's Retreat and Berthorpe Training Camp, have been removed. Well, the one in Lumbridge have been removed. The Blast and Hellfire Hard Lumbridge task objective has been changed back from Cast Fire Blast at a training dummy near Lumbridge to Cast Fire Blast at one of the goblins or giant spiders in the Lumbridge area, including the Lumbridge Catacombs and Swamp. The Lumbridge Fishing Shop has been rotated so its entrance faces Lumbridge Market, like the other adjacent shops, reinforcing the market as a place of importance since the fishing shop has a side door. It can still be accessed from the south. The Herald of Lumbridge has moved from near Lumbridge Lodestone and Bankchest to west of the market, and her pause between the proclamations has tripled. If you're completed the Herald of the Dawn, formerly Nexus Haju achievement, the Herald of Lumbridge now has a dialogue option to mute her overhead chat. Remove the 2013 Rebuild-a-thon Memorial fountain from Lumbridge. The Ceradomist priest and his family are no longer renting the upper level of Explorer Jack's house southwest of the Lumbridge Market and have moved on with their lives. The Zamorak and Herbalist and their family have finally tired of the nefarious rustlings in the cellar and moved from Lumbridge. Some untextured ground tiles along Lumbridge footpaths have been corrected. Declutter Lumbridge West. It's been over 12 years since the Battle of Lumbridge. Nature and Duke of Lumbridge fairly taxing, but anyway, adventurers with long memories will recognize the certain signature elements in rejuvenating the forest west of Lumbridge. So you immediately north of the dirt road, cutting through the Lumbridge forest is a ruined building on a hill infested by tiny spiders. There's also goblins. There's a pack of giant rats that loiter in the southeast corner of the Lumbridge forest. Rabbits are still a thing, a bit on account of the giant rats, fewer in number, including one called Squiggles. Squiggles is in west of Lumbridge forest, now attackable like other rabbits as nature intended. A unicorn features in the southwest corner of the forest for no immediately apparent reason. It's weird. A notoriously aggressive mugger lurks in the south of the forest. There is a few yew trees in the Lumbridge forest. Lumbridge ham fanatics have had their trapdoor leading to their hideout moved back to where it originally was on the hill northwest of Lumbridge Castle. The old mine entrance east of Lumbridge has been cleared away. The dialogue and quest for one small favor once again describes Ham Hideout as infested with spiders and goblins. In animation, when picking the lock of Ham, the hideout entrance has been fixed. Remove some wood slats from the upper level of Ham Ruin for ease of clicking its trapdoor. The Lumbridge Farming Tree patch is back in its original location, just west of Lumbridge Castle. If an amulet nature was attuned to it, the amulet will teleport to saved coordinate until reattuned. When a Christmassy reunion quest next activates Aofi, the pixie should be on Dirt Road and described accordingly. Since the forest west of Lumbridge once again bears little resemblance of a crater, various accessible text referring to the Lumbridge crater that isn't linked to a specific period in storyline when it was a crater has been updated to reference the forest west of Lumbridge. By popular demand, when you complete the World Wakes, the well in west of Lumbridge Forest becomes a memorial fountain, and the Ceradomist preacher arrives on the scene to inform anyone who will listen about the Battle of Lumbridge that happened. A line of the Ceradomist preacher dialogue referring to West Lumbridge Forest as a crater in the present tense has been corrected. Decluttering the Northwest. Remnants of the fence near the north of road from Lumbridge to Janora, southwest of Mill Lane Mill, have been adapted into the potato patch. The duck pond northwest of Lumbridge Headforce has moved its position north and restored Ham ruins, resembling its original location and shape. The Easter egg hunt, Easter hunt egg in the Lumbridge crater, found not far from the duck pond, sits upon the battlefield, has moved to the North Duck Pond, found not far from the Duck Pond northwest of a castle that feels like home. Attempting to close the west gate on the field in Jernora Village no longer triggers nothing interesting happens. The feedback message when spamming gates is now a spam info box rather than a player chat message. A U tree map icon has been added to the trio of U's southeast of Lumbridge's windmill. Entering the chicken and sheep farm adjacent of Fred the Farmer's farmhouse is now sufficient to complete the wait. That's not a sheep achievement. Decluttering Lumbridge and beyond. So to reduce the map clutter, particularly the free-to-play, 12 fishermen, and their D&D head icons have been removed, including the fishermen from the Lumbridge Swamp. 3 fishermen remain in members' areas, Deep Sea Fishing Hub, Fishing Guild entrance, and the Isla Anglerine. Removes the new goblins are conducting a raid broadcast that occurred every 30 minutes, if not disabled. The D&D notification gameplay setting to disable it. Sorry guys, I have a rough day with my throat. I've been sick for a little bit. And the world map icon indicating active goblin raids and subsequent dwarven black guards. A feedback message has been messaged when a free-to-player interacts with some members' content now occurs before opening the membership benefits tab instead of simultaneously. Citizen dialogue in the Lumbridge that references to the 2013 Battle of Lumbridge and Lumbridge Rebuild-a-thon as topics of recent interest have been minimized. This affects the Lumbridge Castle Cook, Captain Harlon, Donnie, Doomsayer, Duke Horatio, Explorer Jack, Father Eric, Father Ernie, Fred the Farmer, the named and unnamed Lumbridge guards, Hank Hands, Harold the Lumbridge Sage, Lactifer, Millie Miller, Man and Woman, Lumbridge General, Shopkeeper, and Assistant. Issues in Donnie's dialogue and suggested area quests, which refer to reworked versions of Rune Mysteries and What's Mine is Yours, have been fixed. She and the Lumbridge Sage also recommend additional quests such as the Blood Pact. A reference to completing tasks for Cash and Loctifer's dialogue have been corrected. A RuneScape, when interacting with the Trapdoor and Explorer Jack Seller, has been corrected to Gillinor. Citizen dialogue beyond Lumbridge that referred to 2013 Lumbridge and the Lumbridge Rebuild-a-thon as of topics of recent interest had been minimized, which also affects Agi, Farmer, Fortunato, Mishism, Morgan, Ned, Towncrier, Wise Old Man, Janor, King Rold, Anasing, Rassiver, and Varag, Sir Amic, Vars, and Falador, Seer in Seer's Village, Counselor at Halgrave and Ardone, the High Priest of Entrana, and Ravor in Canavus. Miss Schism dialogue now references vampires instead of vampires. Just a slight spelling difference there. The Till Death Do Us Part crater near the entrance of this office of the drawer has been cleaned up. These 2018 Halloween cutscenes can now be played from the Statue of Death at the Empyrean Citadel alongside the missing presumed death cutscenes. At the request of mod Ramen, Victor the Goblin, introduced in Till Death Do Us Part, has also ceased to be. Treasure Hunter calendar is still going on, but not for too much longer. Starting the 18th and ending the 24th is Double XP Dozen. Chat log November 17th, Rune Skill and Chill 4K Amascut. That'll be starting at 1600 game time. Community showcase up first. We have Casillo showing off Ice Dragon there in their nice little family or nice group of friends there enjoying the uh, winter scenes, if you will. And Snowy Rune, creating an adorable little gif here. I love that, especially with the trophy right next to them like that. Escaper screenshots, getting a nice cat eye moon type here. This is from Allie. And then Salty XRS is hanging out with the little bear in Fremennik. Man, some of these pictures really draw you in. Then we got the Pink Skirt player events, which don't forget, check your in-game calendar. Tons of events going on. And if you're not sure about boss fights or anything like that, good place to start trying to learn is from them. Also, if you're not familiar, there's a raid school also. Not only does the Pink Skirt do raids, but this one also does raids too. So, this one, the raid school, join the raid school server to participate in the event. So this is through Discord. Please change your server nickname to match your RSN and voice chat so that it can be easier for people to invite you into their group. And this way you can also communicate properly. But the link is right here in the main page. And there is events going on. It looks like this coming weekend, so we got Saturday and Sunday, and this is all 4 raids. And I know RS3 doesn't have a whole lot of raids yet, but there is some. But that'll be it for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time, later, guys.